first season of the early works of the master of suspense.
No, really, oh my God, I'm terribly frightened.
Why, have you been a bad woman or something?
Well, not just bad, but...
But you slept with men.
Oh, no!
You have not. Come here, stand in your place, otherwise it will not come out right, as the girl said to the soldier.
In which the usual becomes disturbing, and the mundane becomes sinister.
That's enough.
Sabotage. The Lodger. Blackmail. Lifeboat. A documentary of his Hollywood years. Concluding with the case of the missing Hitchcock, his original, critically acclaimed and rarely seen masterpiece, uncovered by Film 4, The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Take a look.
Starts Monday, the 9th of August, on Film 4.
Extreme cinema now on Film 4. Critic Mark Kermode introduces a dark and stylish serial killer thriller from Italian horror maestro Dario Argento. The UK television premiere of Tenebrae.
Tonight's extreme cinema screening is another eye-popping fantasy from the mind of Dario Argento, the leading exponent of Italian screen horror and internationally hailed genius of giallo. The generic term giallo refers to the yellow pages of the cheap crime paperbacks, which attained both popularity and notoriety in Italy for revelling in the seedier side of life. It's particularly relevant, then, that Tenebrae stars Anthony Franciosa as a novelist at large in the crime-ridden capital, whose work seems to be inspiring the actions of a particularly grisly serial killer.
The impulse had become irresistible. There was only one answer to the fury that tortured him, and so he committed his first act of murder.
Shot in and around Rome's ritzy Parioli district, which looks as unlike the traditional postcard view of ancient Roman architecture as possible, Tenebrae is most notable for its extraordinary visual style, bringing together Argento's strangely ritualistic preoccupations with the macabre with the extraordinary eye of D.P. Luciano Tovoli, who'd previously served as cinematographer on Antonioni's The Passenger back in the 70s, and whose work here matches anything he did elsewhere. Looking further down the credits to the assistant directors, you'll also come across the likes of Lamberto Bava, son of Mario, and Michele Soavi, later director of The Church and Della Morte della Mori, both of whom served their time under Argento before becoming filmmakers in their own rights. Add to this the uneasy beauty of Giuseppe Bassan's semi-futuristic production design and another spine-tingling goblin score, and it's no surprise that Tenebrae features plenty to dazzle and amaze the eyes and ears. What it doesn't possess is either the greatest script the world has ever heard or anything more than the most superficial characterizations. This, despite the scenery-chewing efforts of Franciosa and a brief turn by cult favourite John Saxon, who remains a stalwart of modern exploitation cinema. Now, whether or not you find this a problem has much to do with your take on Argento in particular and Italian phantasmagoria in general. If you're looking for logical plot development and credible character creation, well, you're really looking in the wrong place. Not because Argento can't achieve these things, you only have to look at the bird with the crystal plumage to know that he can, but because he simply doesn't want to. He's not interested in the nuts and bolts mechanics of realism, and he doesn't want you to be either.
Tenebrae is about human perversion and its effects on society. And I'd like to know how you see the effects of deviant behavior on our lives.
Well, first of all, it isn't just about that.
What you can expect is a broodingly hypnotic visual spell broken by eruptions of extravagantly balletic violence, much of it directed at glamorous women, an issue which the film both explores and exploits simultaneously. It's a film of contradictions that raises as many questions as it answers and enrages as many viewers as it enthralls.
Spy. That little spy.
What you're about to see is the British cinema print of Tenebrae, which was tightened up by about 9 minutes after its Italian premiere by the director, but which had 4 seconds of gore cut from a particularly startling hand-chopping sequence by the British censors back in the 80s, which still can't be shown here in the 90s. So sit back and prepare to experience what the movie's tagline described as a descent into madness.